Hi everybody, welcome back to the Triple Play podcast. Talking more football as the fantasy football season gets closer. I know everybody's hyped up about it. CJ, I'm gonna let you tell them what we're talking about today.
We're talking about our fantasy draft teams that we drafted.
Okay, and just for preface, that was a 8-team league. I know a lot of people are more on the 12-team league grind, but we wanted 8 people that actually really were invested in the league and everything. I felt like if we pushed to 12, we would have grabbed some guys that maybe didn't care as much about the draft and stuff. But everybody was online, everybody drafted. There was no auto drafters, so that was great. So you want to just go ahead and start it with the first round, first pick, because there's a guy in this call that had the first round, first pick.
Yeah, that was me. I took Cooper Cup. I don't know. For some reason I like okay. You can say that. Who'd you take with yours, buddy? Justin Jefferson?
Yes.
Okay, well, I will say I think, if Cooper Cup's your guy, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay. Cooper Cup's probably, arguably the best wide receiver in
I don't think
fantasy
there's no
football, so
I thought you were going to say just in like the NFL. I was like, there ain't no arguing about it. He is the best wide receiver in the
oh,
NFL.
well, yeah. I think you can make that argument a little quicker than you can make the best wide receiver in fantasy football.
Yeah, probably.
But nothing against the pick. You went out and got a guy that's number one in his position. Okay, there
Yeah,
you go.
that's like and it's just I like him, and if I probably would have taken Christian McCaffrey had he not got hurt the past couple of years. Just because I am a Panthers fan and I love Christian McCaffrey, but he just scares me.
And this is a little interesting because both of you first and second round went wide receiver, whereas I went running back. So that's a good conversation that we're going to have during this. Just for preface, second player off the board was Christian McCaffrey. Third player off the board was Jonathan Taylor. I know my dad was probably hyped as heck because Jonathan Taylor made it to the third pick.
Yeah.
Austin Eckler goes off fourth. I took Derrick Henry fifth. The only guy that I probably thought about taking other than Derrick Henry was probably Justin Jefferson because I worry about Dalvin Cook. I worry about Najee Harris and not as great of an offensive situation. But I decided to just take a chance on Derrick Henry being the absolute machine that he is. I just wanted to lock up a running back early.
Yeah.
And after that, Dalvin Cook went next. Najee Harris went seventh. And then CJ, you had back-to-back picks. And I really want you to talk about that because I think this might be the best back-to-back pick at the 8-9 that I've ever seen.
Well, you guys had taken all the running backs. So I went out. I think I got the best 1-2 punch in wide receivers that you can get. That is in J Jet and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't knock
Absolutely.
you for that.
And
Those two good picks.
how excited were you to see both of those guys there when it was
I
your pick?
I don't even know if I was excited because I wanted a running back.
Yeah.
But the fact that I had back to back and I was like, you know what? Running back I know is like a bell cow position, but wide receiver, when you have Justin Jefferson sitting there who's like fourth and Jamar Chase who's like sixth, and you get him at 7 or you get him at 8 and 9, it's like,
Yeah, that's wild. I can't believe Justin Jefferson fell that far. I could see people maybe thinking, okay, Jamar Chase might be a
right.
little more relaxed this year, but Justin Jefferson, I thought he would honestly come off the board right after me at like sixth or something. Which running back would have had to have fallen to you, CJ, for you to say, no, I'm going to take this running back instead of Justin Jefferson?
It was definitely either probably the next like from fourth pick to seventh, like Eckler. I would have taken Eckler, Henry, Cook, and Najee over JJ.
Okay, but then I think you would have took JJ over Jamar Chase anyway, right?
Oh, of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it would have been more of like a maybe a Dalvin Cook and a Justin Jefferson or something because
I
we
was
don't
really hoping to get Najee
yeah.
Harris, but
I could have seen Najee Harris or Dalvin Cook falling. Dalvin Cook obviously for injury concern, and Najee Harris just because maybe not as big on the Steelers offense, but he's a stud. So I could have seen either one of those guys fall into your pick. It just didn't work out. You didn't pull the trigger on Alvin Kamara though. So that was a running back that I thought maybe you would.
And the Saints have too many weapons. I know Kamara is like one of the best PPR guys like for running back, but I just think with them getting Michael Thomas back, and then they have a lot of they have Chris Olave now. I just think the ball's gonna be more spread out.
Okay, I understand that for sure.
I'm not saying. I'm just
ahead.
saying I think Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are two. They're both higher valued picks than Kamara was where I had them, so I had to take them.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna even say that I would have taken Stephon Diggs before I took Kamara. And maybe even Joe Mixon and DeAndre Swift as well.
I will say, because I did have the next pick technically, CJ drafted at the 9, Alvin Kamara went right after him, Stephon Diggs. I took DeAndre Swift. If Kamara was still in the equation, I'd probably take Kamara over Swift just because I think Kamara is just a little bit more of a proven commodity than DeAndre Swift. I do like the upside of Swift, so that's why I took him over a guy like Joe
He's
Mixon.
for the Lions.
Yeah, I know, and that's the worry, right? That
the Lions is where the careers go to die.
But Swift is the guy that's going to catch the passes out of the backfield. This is a PPR league. I think that's just pretty. I think it's pretty safe. Joe Mixon went the very next pick. Devontae Adams the pick after that. Actually, we had a really big reach there after that with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, I understand going to get your guy. The guy's a Lions fan. Like hey, go for it. He probably wished that DeAndre Swift would have fell to him at that point. Wanted to make sure that he locked up a Lions player. I don't blame him. Like, dude, if you want to go get your guy, go get your guy. Guy could have an absolute stud season. Like I've spoke highly on Amon-Ra St. Brown before, but then Nick, you actually slip in.
I lucked up on that.
And get Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce on the 2-3 turn.
Yeah, I think if you learned anything from how I drafted at our auction draft for, the league with your family, I love wide receivers and I love people that are going to be in the damn end zone. Travis Kelce, Cooper Kupp, and Tyreek Hill are all going to be in the end zone all year long.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Like, Tyreek's got to get the ball first from Tua, though.
And I think he will. I think he will.
I took the investment that Tyreek Hill was not lying and not just hyping up his boy when he said he would rather just on like a slant route or something, just hitting you in your hands. He'd rather have Tua than Patty. Now on a long ball, he said he'd rather have Patty. But
now I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Preseason the other day, they look great. The offense looked great. Tua looked great. Now, was they playing against probably an actual starting 11? Yeah. Probably not.
No, but at least they didn't look like crap against that crappy starting 11.
They could have looked out of sync. They looked like they actually knew what they were doing together. Now, was it ever a question for you, Nick? Did you ever think that Travis Kelce was not going to be on the board at round 3, pick number 1?
I mean, really, I think that a couple of the weird picks in the first couple rounds really set me up perfectly at the end of the second and beginning of the third round to get 2 studs.
Yeah.
Because I was not expecting to be able to get Travis Kelce.
Well, now, I'm going to tell you right now, I think maybe the only arguably weird pick may be Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah. But I will say this, a lot of other home leagues, somebody's going to pull the trigger on Travis Kelce in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, but I saw Tyreek Hill, and I'm like, and it didn't even register in my mind that I had back-to-back picks. And I was like, I think I got to go Hill here. I think I got to go Hill. And then I was like, oh, I get to pick again? Travis Kelce. Yes, please. But I think, to be honest with you, I thought my best shot for like a round 3 would have been like a Keenan Allen or like a Mark Andrews maybe for my pick in the third round.
Yeah. No, I think he's actually a pretty decent value at the beginning of the third round just compared to what I've seen before. After your pick, DJ Moore goes off the board. Hopefully DJ Moore does good this year. Mark Andrews actually goes right after that. I know that Jay was saying that he would have took Mark Andrews with the very next pick. He ends up getting Debo. I took Keenan Allen with my third round pick. Just a proven PPR stud in an offense that could be the best in football right now.
Justin Herbert.
We're about Justin Herbert. And we're about to make it down to CJ here. Javonte Williams went off the board. My brother Devin's really been big on Javonte Williams this offseason. We definitely think that he could take the backfield over completely from Melvin Gordon. Michael Pittman Jr. has been up this offseason. And then CJ, I'm going to let you talk about this little Aaron Jones, Cam Akers back-to-back here.
Yeah, the way I look at it is Green Bay has a good offense, and they don't have a true one receiver. So Aaron Jones, I think, is going to get a lot of receptions. I know he's not going to get a bulk of the carries, but the receptions are more points than carries are. So.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, that's what I feel about it. A.J. Dillon's going to get a lot of carries too because they have to run the ball.
Exactly.
But then with Cam Akers, I mean, he was promising. I forget where he came out of. I know he tore his ACL for his rookie year, I think, before he could play.
Yeah.
And I think he's a fast guy, especially in the Sean McVay offense. I know he's not a bell cow back, but I think he can make a lot of things happen because he's very, very versatile.
Yeah, I mean, like there's always been that upside talk with Cam Akers. You worry that Darrell Henderson will take some of his carries away, but I will ask you, CJ, what you know if anything, did you ever think about taking Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott before you took Cam Akers?
But what Zeke, I drafted Zeke his rookie year and he did really well, and ever since then he's not done well. So I don't trust him anymore. Really, I don't value him as much. I mean,
Yeah.
if he's there like in the 6th round, okay, take him. But in the 4th round, where the Cowboys, you have a good offense. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. I gotta Zeke's gonna have like a prove it year. Then I can consider taking him again. And
Yeah. Well, now
Saquon, go ahead.
like I said, like you said, he had that insane rookie season. I think that has messed up our expectation of him as well because, everybody has been drafting him for the past couple years as like the 4th, 5th running back off the board. Now, last year, he was still a top 10 running back, squeaked into the top 10, but, he's not given that flash anymore of like, hey, this dude is insane.
He's
So,
still running in Cabo Sand.
yeah, well, yeah, and it just, it makes you think like, okay, when's the big decline coming? So I understand the concern for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, like I said, he's not like a big decline, but he's just not. I just thought Cam Akers is. I think Cam Akers is in a better offense.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, he's in a better offense.
Zeke's
That's
O
true.
line has deteriorated, and another thing, Tyron Smith getting hurt, I think
Yep.
really.
That
Kind of
hurts
put him really.
everybody on that offense for
But
sure.
and then when I go to Saquon, the Giants are terrible.
Okay, so
And then
after Cam Akers, Mike Evans went off the board. That's obviously a proven commodity there. CeeDee Lamb goes off the board. I took Saquon Barkley. I felt like Saquon Barkley at that point was a pretty good value. I've never been the biggest Saquon Barkley fan. He could be a top 5 running back. You never know. AJ Brown went off the board. Ezekiel Elliott, TJ Hawkinson, and then Nick, we actually have you at the turn with your first 2 running backs, and you want to talk about those guys?
I took James Conner and Leonard Fournette, but I was praying and praying and praying that either Saquon or Zeke would fall to me at that last pick of round 4 because
Yeah.
I'd locked up my tight end, got the best tight end in football, locked up my wide receivers, I got the best wide receiver in football, and I don't know, Tyreek's probably what, top 7 ish, like maybe better.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. He's probably
just,
top 3 weapon.
Yeah. But I mean, I knew I needed to get some running backs that were competent at least.
Absolutely.
And
both of them are in good offenses.
Yeah, I mean, they are, but they do scare. Like James Conner, I don't know, he scares me. But to be honest with you, I don't know that Nick Chubb might have been the only one that was probably that I would have taken over him.
Yeah.
And felt good about it at that point in the draft.
Well, now I understand too why you probably didn't take Nick Chubb because James Conner and Leonard Fournette are some guys that do catch the ball out of the backfield pretty consistently in their offense. James Conner and Leonard Fournette, obviously, I think you worry about health concerns with both. James Conner just because it's been his past, Leonard Fournette just because he is getting a little older. But both of those guys have been in the offense for over a year. They're feeling good about their offense. They catch the ball. I completely think that you smashed it with the 3 players that you got before them, and then these 2 guys who can catch the ball and get the PPR points that you need to be stable at the running back position. I thought that it was a great turn.
Juju went next after that. I mean,
yep.
Juju, I think he could be great or it could be awful. Like it's just, and I don't think that Pat Mahomes will determine that. I think it'll 100% be Juju that determines how good or bad his time in Kansas City is.
Yeah, absolutely. Jalen Waddle goes right after that. Obviously, the other weapon in Miami. Mike Williams, the other weapon for Justin Herbert, and then I actually took T. Higgins, which is the second guy out of Cincinnati. Yeah, and I took Keenan Allen and T. Higgins as my first 2 wide receivers because I felt like I should feel pretty good about my running backs because I've got Derrick Henry and I've got DeAndre Swift, and then I've got Saquon Barkley who could come up and be great. So I thought maybe I just go more PPR focused, more possession type of wide receivers with my first 2, and I took Keenan Allen and T. Higgins. I felt pretty good about it. I hope T. Higgins is still, that guy for that offense this year. I hope Tyler Boyd doesn't take too many of those PPR targets across the middle away from him. Nick Chubb went next. Now, I will say this. This is probably the most interesting thing that happened in our draft. Everybody played it close to the hand with running backs and wide receivers and, the occasional tight end. Josh Allen, the number one quarterback, didn't go until the 5th round. I was surprised to see that it took that long for somebody to pull the trigger on him.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, like, the next time it came around, I thought if him or Mahomes is still available, or maybe even Herbert, I'm going to take a shot on him. I'm just going to grab him. But all of them went in the round, before I got to my next
pick. It really did. It really did start coming off the board after that. And I think everybody kind of woke up and was like, oh, wait a second. Nobody's taking quarterbacks,
Yeah.
But let's talk about what CJ did right after the Josh Allen pick. He went ahead and locked up Kyle Pitts, arguably the 3rd tight end in the league. And then he locked up a guy who's going to be great 2 or 3 weeks down the road, and that's J.K. Dobbins. So, CJ, you want to talk about those guys real quick?
Yeah, Kyle Pitts was interesting to me because he's a heck of an athlete. He's a versatile weapon. Put him on the outside. He's 6'6". He can run like the wind. It's just a matter of a Ken Mario to get him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he can to an extent, hopefully.
Yeah.
I felt decent about it. I saw Waller, looking back, I probably should have taken Waller. But the way I'm looking at it now is there's a lot of weapons in Nevada. So Kyle Pitts is easily the number one in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
So that's why I probably took him. And then J.K. Dobbins, he's gonna hold down that backfield, I think. And when he's healthy, and I think
for sure.
Because him and Lamar in the backfield are deadly. So I just said I know he might miss like the first couple weeks maybe, or he might work his way back in or something. He won't get like the bulk of the carries. But I just felt like he was a good value pick considering because 2 weeks, 2 losses don't hurt you.
True.
I mean, and plus because I think JK's upside is way better than his downside.
Yeah, I like both the picks. Both of the picks have tremendous upside, like you said. Kyle Pitts might go through a quarterback change at some point this season to Desmond Ridder, and if he does, a young quarterback is going to look for the best player on the offense when he drops back to pass. And then
they're both young, and hopefully they can both be a dynamic duo in Atlanta for years.
Yep. And J.K. Dobbins, like you said, the Ravens want to get back to running the ball more, and so when J.K. Dobbins does get healthy, I feel like it's going to be the Lamar J.K. show, just running the ball all over the place. So I really liked it. And then, you thought about Darren Waller. Well, he come off the board right after you there. George Kittle comes off the board right after him. So everybody's kind of, blitzing tight end here. I decided to go back to the quarterback field and go ahead and grab Patty Mahomes in the 6th round. I was like super ecstatic. And Jay actually said that he would have took him with the very next pick. So glad that I jumped in there and got Pat Mahomes. I feel good about it. That's the guy that you just know is going to be consistent for your fantasy football team. Like, I feel great about it. Justin Herbert goes right after that to Jay. He said that he did think about taking Lamar there. I understand the rushing upside, but now Justin Herbert is a consistent quarterback. He does run the ball just a little bit just because he's an athlete. Adam Thielen went next, a little more of a proven commodity at the wide receiver position. Josh Jacobs. And then, Nick, we've got you at the turn here with 2 guys who could have tremendous upside. I'm going to let you talk about them.
I took Jerry Judy with the 8th pick in round 6. I mean, I think him and Russell Wilson can make it work, right? I mean, surely they can. I think, and if that's your number 3 wide receiver behind Kupp and Tyreek Hill, I felt good about it,
Yeah.
And I took Travis Etienne next, and I don't know, just backup running back, or maybe flex some weeks depending on who they're playing.
Yeah, well, and you've got 2 veteran guys at running back, so
and
you
can take a chance. And Glass Connor has a history of injury. He gets hurt all the time, so it's just I just need a safety net for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a guy with tremendous upside that's about to come off of an injury that's going to play with a guy that he played with in college. I love the Jerry Judy pick. The only knock on Jerry Judy has always been that he's a little fragile. If Jerry Judy's fine, I think that there'll be several weapons in Denver that get plenty of fantasy points, and I think he's definitely one of them. 2 guys with tremendous upside. I thought it was a great turn. after ETN, Matthew Stafford actually went off the board and instead of Lamar Chase as the next quarterback. Hey, listen, you can't argue with consistency, and Stafford might be the most consistent guy in the league. He's going to sling it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes off the board. Terry McLaurin actually fell to that point. I know everybody's kind of scared of the Washington situation. And then I actually took the other Denver wide receiver in Cortland Sutton. And I
He's the
just
one for
think
sure.
I just think because Cortland Sutton has been more healthy in the past that he is going to be the guy that benefits the most. That's just me. That's just me. I think it could be either one on any given week. Cortland Sutton may go 180 and 2 touchdowns, and then the next week Jerry Judy may be the guy that goes 180 and 2 touchdowns. So I think it's okay to get two pieces of the offense. Really, I took Cortland Sutton. You got Jerry Judy. I don't think either one of them were bad picks.
Yeah.
Very next, my brother takes Lamar Jackson. He's a Baltimore fan. I'm pretty sure he was pretty happy that Lamar made it that far. Allen Robinson went next. That's another great wide receiver pickup. And then, CJ, we're back to you on the 7-8 turn. You took a couple wide receivers that you think have great upside. So
Again, and I took back-to-back receivers. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to go wide receivers this draft. But Lamar Jackson was going to be my pick, but, he was taken, and I was like, well, didn't really know anything else because a couple guys that went after me were like DK Metcalf, and then Joe Burrow was also there. But I just thought Deontay Johnson's going to be Pitt's number one. He's going to get the ball the most, I feel like. So, and then for Buffalo, Gabriel Davis is going to be a perfect slot guy. Like if Diggs is double covered, they're going to go to Gabriel Davis or Dawson Knox. But I think Davis is going to get those more targets like that.
Oh, yeah. Gabriel Davis is the big body in the end zone, too. Like, it's pretty obvious that Josh Allen likes to look for him in the end zone.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Deontay Johnson, he's the number one in Pittsburgh. I mean, if they go with Mitch Trubisky, he's going to get a lot of possession catches. He's going to get a lot of PPR points. If they go with Kenny Pickett, a young quarterback's going to look for the best player on the field. And so Deontay Johnson is most undoubtedly that player at this point for Pittsburgh.
Because usually with the young QB, they go to the best receiver and then the tight end. Those are the two they usually go to.
Exactly. And so I think a great turn. Tremendous upside out of both players. Once you start getting in this point in the draft, you're kind of just looking for upside because a couple of these guys are going to go on your bench. So, you need to be looking for guys that 2-3 weeks down the road could really, really start helping you. David Montgomery went next. Surprised to see him slide quite that far. Might would have took him over like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but, Chicago offense, we don't know. DK Metcalf went next. That's a guy that we're not sure about. We're not sure the situation at QB, Geno Smith. Maybe he can get DK the ball. DK's an athlete. I took Brandon Cooks next. Every year I feel like we're always having this conversation about Brandon Cooks, like, oh, well, he's in a terrible offense, and oh, he's got a terrible quarterback. The guy always I heard a stat this morning, 6 of the last 7 years when everybody was doubting him, 6 of the last 7 years he's went over 1,000 yards. So the guy just gets the ball. He just figures it out. Dalton Schultz actually went next, so another tight end off the board. Darnell Mooney out of Chicago. Devin Singletary, the Buffalo running back, so somebody that might get some upside. And then Nick pulled the trigger on his man in the 8th round at the 8th pick.
Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow. He's my boy. I had to take him. And then, to turn – I was thrilled to take a chance on Michael Thomas in the 9th round because he has the potential to be like one of the maybe the second best wide receiver on my team at the end of the year if he can come back and do what he was doing. But it's also a risk. He may be awful and just ride the bench all year or get dropped. But
absolutely. But I think you'll know. I do think that you'll know rather quickly what the situation is with Michael Thomas.
First 2 or 3 weeks should tell the tale.
Yeah, and then you can move on. And grab another guy that maybe is emerging in another offense.
Right.
But no, I love the 2 picks. I actually can't believe Joe Burrow fell that far because we know that a lot of people in the league think highly of Joe Burrow. But can't believe he honestly fell that far in a home league draft and everything. But listen, hey, credit to you for getting your guy.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest with you, now that I look at it, it was probably a bit foolish because I could have taken Kyler Murray.
I understand.
But I mean, I love Joe Burrow. I had to get my 1 homer pick,
Yeah, I hear you. So after Michael Thomas, another chance. DeAndre Hopkins gets taken off the board in the 9th round. Thought it was a little early, but hey, 6 weeks. If you can make it, say this guy's 2-4 when DeAndre Hopkins gets back, that's going to help.
Yeah.
So then Kyler Murray goes in the 9th round. I'm sure, my dad was happy to see him there. Chris Godwin goes, another guy that could be out for a couple weeks. So it seems like everybody's kind of starting to take some chances here.
Mm-hmm.
I took Breece Hall, which is a big risk. We know that Michael Carter is there with the New York Jets. They like him. He could be more of the passing down guy early on. But I've heard nothing but great things about the athleticism, just the freak of nature that Breece Hall is. I think that having Joe Flacco the first couple games actually helps everybody on the offense, including like Breece Hall maybe catching the ball out of the backfield just a little bit, and getting more carries and maybe the box not being so stacked. Next off the board goes Elijah Mitchell, Jahan Dotson, who actually, has been in talks of possible, like maybe a wide rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, a sleeper guy for that pick. Then CJ, I think, made like the shock of the draft. He was the first guy to pull the trigger on a couple categories that nobody had drafted from yet.
Well, the way I looked at it is I already had my starters, and I was like, these guys, running back I was kind of shaky on, but my receivers I was like, I have stud guys, it's tight end receiver, I'm okay. And I was like, I got shafted out of some of my picks, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be the first guy to take the Bills defense, and I took old reliable Justin Tucker as my pick.
Absolutely. I mean, like Justin Tucker will win you weeks by himself. That's just how good Justin Tucker is. It's crazy.
Especially with the run offense of the Ravens.
Yeah.
Or run the ball on 3rd and 9.
Yeah. Exactly, because they know that Justin Tucker kicks field goal anyway. So, but now CJ, does that Bills defense matchup week 1 against the Rams? Does that bother you at all, or are you just going to hang with them through that matchup?
They play in the AFC North, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have the New England Patriots' offense is kind of meh, and then the Dolphins. I mean, I still don't trust Tua, so he's going to throw picks. So, and who else is in the division?
How are the Dolphins in the North?
No, it might be. It's the East. It's the East. I definitely think
it's the AFC East. That's what it is. It's the East.
So, okay. There ain't no way.
Yeah, no, because the AFC North. Yeah,
the AFC North is. Oh my God. Rain. So who else is in the AFC East? Is it
AFC East? So let's see right here. So we've got
the Colts.
AFC East. You've got the Bills, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Jets.
The Jets. Oh yeah, the Jets.
So other than the Dolphins, you're probably not scared. You're probably not any scared whatsoever.
They play I'm not. They play 6 games against below average teams.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was pretty deep. I feel like that's pretty solid.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand sticking with them through one tough matchup to get to several very, very favorable matchups for sure. So after CJ went with his turn, Chase Edmonds came off the board out of Miami. Marquise Brown came off the board, who projects to be the number 1 wide receiver right now in Arizona. I took Christian Kirk off the board next.
Next pick.
Yeah, there was a couple guys that were more proven around that area, but I wanted to take a leap because I've already got 3 great wide receivers in my opinion, and I wanted to take a leap on maybe Trevor Lawrence making a jump. So I've heard nothing but good things about Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk hooking up and for long deep passes and the camp and everything. So I wanted to take a chance on it. Right after that, Amari Cooper goes off the board, Miles Sanders, Zach Ertz, and then Nick, we're back at the turn with you with 2 picks that are, I think, very great picks again.
I mean, Hunter Renfrow, I just felt like, he could be a great bye week guy. I mean, really, or like if someone gets hurt, he's not a terrible backup. And Rashad Bateman, I mean, he's really more of just a bye week guy, like just someone who I can put in on a bye week. But hopefully, his bye week is like, week 14 last year where he had, 7 receptions for 103 yards and scored 17 points. Like that's, if you can do that. And he had a lot of, 14 and 12-point games. And like, if you can come in and do that on my bye week when you're filling in, I'll love you for that.
Yeah, no, I think Hunter Renfrow is a great guy to replace somebody with if necessary. He's going to catch 6 or 7 passes a game, every game, PPR purposes. Rashad Bateman is the number 1 wide receiver for Baltimore at this
Yeah.
point. The thing we've known about Lamar Jackson in the past is he throws to his tight end and he throws to 1 wide receiver.
Mhm.
If Rashad Bateman is that wide receiver, you got a great pick in the 11th round for sure. So after that, Julio Jones comes off the board. Tyler Lockett. A.J. Dillon came off the board right there. And gosh, I couldn't believe he fell that far. I wanted to take him so bad. I reached for a guy that I think I won't say it was a reach, but Damien Pierce out of Houston. We've nothing but good things out of camp and preseason. They have actually already shut him down for preseason because they know that he's going to be the starter. I know that Houston isn't the greatest team. I've got 2 players from their team already on my team, but fantasy points can come from anywhere. So I like the opportunity. Ramondre Stevenson goes next. Alan Lazard, I think that's a good pick. And then CJ, you're on the turn there, and I'm going to let you talk about your 2 guys on the turn.
Well, I went on with another Atlanta guy, Mr. Cordero Patterson.
Yep.
And, he's very versatile. Again, I like my versatile guys.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, either Mariota, he's going to check down to his running back. He's going to check down to Pitts. He's going to check down to Cordero. I just think they're going to get a lot of touches when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
And then my next pick, I couldn't believe he was still there, to be honest with you. But a lot of guys had already taken a lot of QBs. So I went with Aaron Rodgers, who I think is a very, very solid pick.
Yeah.
In the 12th round. I know that all of the guys went up early. Like, who went? Was it Justin Herbert, Mahomes, Lamar?
Yeah, pretty much everybody to that point had went.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I was like, those top 4 guys. But like if you really closely look at it, there's not much difference between like the top 7 quarterbacks points wise. Like they're not far. You know what I mean? They're not far apart in points.
No.
So I was like, when I saw those guys, and then I couldn't get Lamar, and I was like, well, crap, I might as well just wait.
Yeah. I understand. And now, did you think about taking Russell Wilson at all with that pick?
Nope. I don't.
Okay.
I don't trust Dangerous.
Okay, so we're not drinking the Kool-Aid on Denver.
No, they don't. No. I'm not saying they're going to do bad, but Aaron Rodgers is proven. Russell Wilson's proven, but
that's true.
I got to see what he does.
That's true. Russell Wilson went the pick right after you took Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Smith went next, kind of hoping that I actually had him there. I took Drake London out of Atlanta, another upside guy, a guy that everybody has said has just flashed so much athleticism in camp. Like you said, you're worried about the Kyle Pitts thing and the Cordero Patterson thing with like Marcus Mariota and stuff. Now, Drake London would be a lot more of a stretch, in my opinion, than those 2 guys. Those 2 guys are a little more proven in an offense than a guy like Drake London. So in the first couple weeks, I'm going to know whether Drake London is worth hanging on to or not. So that's why I took him.
I think they're going to get him the ball, obviously, too. They're going to give him chances in the end zone.
Yeah.
It depends who all they double. If they double cover Pitts, they're going to go to London. If they double cover London, they're going to go to Pitts.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Next off the board, Elijah Moore. Chase Claypool actually came off the board next. Jamal Williams, who is the backup running back for Detroit, and and could get some touches there. And then Nick, you were on the 12-13 turn with 2 running backs.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have any backup running backs at the time, so I was like, oh gosh, I got to get somebody. And I looked at Kareem Hunt a little bit, and I looked last year. He missed a lot of time towards the back half of the season, but his first 5 games were pretty decent. He had 17 points, 6 points, 27 points, 16 points, and 25 points. He might take somebody's spot if he puts those numbers up in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Really, and I just thought it wasn't a bad pick to take in the third to last round, just for a backup.
Yeah.
And then I took Tony Pollard. I don't know. Just a name.
Well, another guy that has a chance to make a splash in a backfield. And then if Zeke was to get hurt, we know that Tony Pollard's the guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And on an offense that should still project to be pretty good. So, both of these guys could easily be the guy with one quick injury to the starter. Not bad picks at all. Next, Matt Gay actually goes off the board next. Antonio Gibson goes off the board, and I want to mention I hope you guys saw the news about Brian Robinson, the other Redskins running back. He actually got shot multiple times in a carjacking attempt. Now, non-fatal injuries. He's possibly getting out of the hospital as early as tomorrow. But obviously, he's going to miss several weeks of the fantasy football season here. And Antonio Gibson just became the #1 rusher for the Redskins. You don't want to be,
Commanders.
the Commanders. Sorry, the Commanders. My fault. That's my fault, man. But no, I mean, Antonio Gibson just became a very, very interesting pick for the Washington Commanders. It's crazy, how stuff like that happens. But hopefully everything goes okay for him. Saints defense come off the board next. And then I took the Muth because the Muth is Luth. Okay. The Pat Fryermuth out of Pittsburgh. I think that, you were just talking earlier, CJ, that if they were to go with the rookie quarterbacks look for the #1 wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, and the tight end. Muth looked good last year, even with old Big Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback. I took him over Dallas. I took him over Dallas Goedert because I like the upside opportunity. After that, Dallas Goedert went, Taysom Hill. We're about done being able to talk about this draft. But now, CJ, you got two guys you're excited about right here at 13-14.
Oh God, yeah. I took Chris Olave and Jalen Hurts. I already had Aaron Rodgers, but I wanted another versatile guy. Jalen Hurts. I feel like the Eagles are going to be really, really, really good. They're really, really, really good.
Yeah. And a lot of guys think that Jalen Hurts is going to be a top 5 quarterback in fantasy this year.
I mean, and that's why he's starting over Rodgers right now.
I hear you.
But he's dual threat. He runs up for touchdowns a lot. He got a new weapon in AJ Brown. He has Devontae Smith. Has a heck of an O line. I just think that's a good combination right there.
Yep.
And Olave, obviously a fill-in guy. But I think rookies. I took a chance on them. They'll get the NFL loves to get their rookies involved, no matter what. Quarterbacks, receivers, whatever. They love playing their rookies to get them experience and getting them used to doing what they're going to be doing for a long time. So.
All right, real quick. The next guy that I took off the board was Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I just tried to take a guy that might have some upside. Nick, you took Evan McPherson and the Buccaneers defense. I'm pretty sure you're happy about that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, Evan McPherson, he was great last year. and the Bengals are going to be scoring touchdowns, so he's going to be kicking PATs, and they're going to be near the red zone, so he's going to be kicking field goals. So
Marquez going to be scoring touchdowns.
Yep. Yeah. I took the Chargers defense. They've got a lot of good weapons. CJ, you took Damian Harris and Kadarius Toney, another couple guys that could be some great weapons for you if everything works out. And I took Brandon McManus. Nick, you took Tua with the last pick of the draft.
Yeah.
That Dolphins offense might be the real deal.
Yeah, could be.
But, all right. Thank you, everybody. Draft recap. We appreciate it. Nick, tell them what to do.
You gotta like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Look on the screen. You've got an opportunity for a video, and you got an opportunity to subscribe. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.